Hi, I am CagerOnTwoWheels, and today I'm going to talk about the STS safer turn system I have on this bike. In case you were distracted, some time ago I made a video review of a little gadget I have, which you can't see, which is a motorcycle turn cancelling turn indicator canceller system. Man, that's a mouthful. What this does is that it cancels your indicators for you. And the thing is, this is not just mimicking what other bikes can do, this is improving on it. Look, no hands, straight up, cancels it. Well, when I tested it initially, I wasn't expecting much, and I was very pleasantly surprised. One, at the price, 140 euros, which is not that much, and two, at just how well it worked. And so I just left it in the bike. And then I got way more impressed as time went past, because it just simply works. There's no ifs, buts, or whats, it just works. It's amazing. I love it. I love it. I love it. Especially because it's relatively cheap. It's a pretty cheap mod. It costs just slightly more than this big windscreen here. Costs the same as my comfort seat. And so it's one of the cheaper or cheap-ish mods you can get on the bike. There is an extra fee you have to pay, which is to get it installed. I would recommend getting it professionally installed, so all the cabling is done correctly and out of the way and it doesn't get loose. So you might have to pay a bit extra for that, but if you're more mechanically minded than I am, there shouldn't be an issue. And this is quite a tight filter I'm trying to do. I wanted to show you this cancelling, but traffic isn't helping. Let's go slowly here. But this just works. It's absolutely brilliant. This is a brilliant idea. Oh, and I wanted to say that this is better than the stock ones that come with bikes like BMWs and whatnot, because on those bikes, without exception, that works in one of these two ways, and sometimes in both, which is distance and time. On the Harley I tried in Abu Dhabi a long time ago, I think that was a time-based thing. It would cancel after a few seconds. The Beamers, I think, is time and distance covered. Okay, I'm going to go left here. Take a look at the indicator. As I go left, it cancelled because I did the first left turn. Now another left turn. And straighten up, and it cancels. I'm not touching the cancelling indicator, okay? Now I'm going to signal right. Look, no hands. As soon as I straighten up, cancelled. It's awesome. It just works. It works changing lanes. It works on intersections. It even works when I'm stopped. Like, I'm going left, I'm going to signal right. Straighten, doesn't cancel. I'm going to stop here because it can get confused like this when you're stopping, and if you're weaving left and right, obviously it thinks you've done the turn or whatever you were signaling and it stops. But normally it's just going with the flow, like you normally do, like this. It just works. It does have the small advantage, see, it saw me going left, right, and then it stopped. It does have the small disadvantage that in the beginning you're constantly looking down, making sure it's still working, on that it's working, but then you get used to it and it just works all the time. The big advantage of this is that, oh come on, you can fit through that. The big advantage of this is that when you're, say, exiting a roundabout or something, when you straighten up the bike, it cancels the indicator, so you're not... Hey! So you're not actually misleading the drivers in front of you, making them think you're going to turn right when you're not actually going to turn right because you forgot. Go on. Now, where am I? I'm a bit lost. I want to go... No, not this way. Yes, I want to go this way. So look, right when I straighten up, it clears. Now let's try a lane change. Yeah, this is not what I wanted to go, because I'm not taking my usual route. I want to show you this working, so I have to go a bit of a roundabout way. Let's go change lane, and it turns off. Obviously it's not going to work if you just change lanes like this, because I'm not actually turning right, okay? So eventually it'll turn itself off after some time. But now I actually want to go left so I can overtake these. Oh, it cancelled itself, see? It takes a little while and then it just stops. It just works, look! I am not touching the cancelling ever. For me, actually, this is horrible, because during test drives now I forget to cancel the indicators. I'm so used to this. It just works all the time. I don't even look down at indicators anymore. I know they're just working for me. The only improvement you could have on this would be that it would indicate for you. This works even better than a car, because a car is simply that latch system you can hear when you're turning the wheel. Can I go? Can I go? Can I go? It's just that latch system that then arms itself and then triggers. This is better. This is smart. This takes the sensors from turning, from a lot of input like vibration, acceleration, compass. If you change direction for a while, it knows you've done the turn. Things like it takes from a ton of sensors and then processes it and decides if it's time to cancel or not, which is actually a much smarter system than cars or most of the competition. And for this price, this is absolutely brilliant, and I certainly swear by it. I would heartily recommend this on all bikes. In fact, so much that I am going to rip this out when I sell this bike. I'm going to rip this out to install on my new bike, and if I can't rip it out for some reason, I'm going to buy a new one for my new bike. This is just absolutely brilliant, and it's not really that expensive. That's why I love it and I recommend it very highly. I would put this into the first 3 mods to do on the bike. Comfort seat, some bikes can skip that, others can't. Taller windscreen, and this. And then we can go on to an exhaust and some pretty brake levers. This costs as much as those pretty brake levers you get. And these work perfectly well. And then you spend like €100 on a prettier brake lever because it looks sporty, when you can actually have something that's hugely useful and just awesome. Okay, so that's it. Well, I'm just going to show you this. Not touching. I swear I'm not touching, and I actually can see my hands. I hope the GoPro gets my hand. It actually cancelled itself because I straightened up slightly. But it's done. The turn is done. Anyway. And I have to really attempt to trick it to make it not work correctly. And even so, and I tried it now, even so, it manages to disappoint me that I can't seem to be able to trick it. I am going to do it now, see? If I go like this, very slowly, now it's not going to cancel. You have to change lanes like an old lady for this to... Oh, it cancelled! What the hell? I want to go another lane and it cancelled again. Man, this is awesome. At the start, because this is a bit of an involved process, one of the things you have to do, you have to put 2 little rubber pads inside the switch, so it doesn't latch. Because the switch works like a stick. When you indicate left, it grabs and it stays there. There's a little latch there, and you put a little rubber thing so that it doesn't latch and it returns always to the center position. So at first, the first month, let's say, your indicator will feel a bit spongy. It feels as if it's not connected to anything. It still works, but the feel is different. Sorry. After some time, that gets better and better, and then you just feel like it's not latching. You don't have that little positive click you feel when you switch left or right. You don't have that because it's not supposed to do that. What you're actually doing is requesting an indicator. So you're just clicking a little micro switch. You don't feel any feedback from the indicator. That's the only weirdness about it. And that's a very small price to pay. You get used to it instantly, and it's seriously not a big deal. And it works with everything, with your hazards. I can put my hazards on if I want, like this. See, that works. Here's the hazards. The only instance I can see it not working is for bikes that do not have hazards. And let's say you are filtering like I'm doing now, and many bikes like to go filtering with hazards on. I also do it depending on conditions. But some that don't have hazards, what they do is they indicate left, and they just go on happily indicating left like this. In that very specific case, this will not work because it will cancel the indicator for you eventually. Either because you weaved a little bit more, or because it's timed out, so it turns itself off like this, or the highway did a turn, so the compass tells it has done the turn you were indicating and it cancels. So yeah, that's the only place where I can see this not working. But that's a really tiny thing. It's an awesome system, and I love it, and I recommend it immensely. And so that's it, the advertisement of the day. No, seriously, this is very good. I'm going to put a link underneath, I think, if I have time, or you can just Google it if you want. But I love it. Oh, it's in case you're wondering if it's a lot of cables, it is. It's a ton of cables because you got like 6 cables coming out of this. That's why I advise it to be professionally attached. And then there's a little sensor box with about the size of my thumb, the whole thumb. It's not that big, but it's not really that small. It's not a tiny thing. It's like I don't know, the size of a couple of AAA batteries. So that's underneath here somewhere under the bike. And that's all you have to do, just stay, and that works as a shunt between your indicator and the rest of the electrical part of your bike. That's why professionally equipped, because you're cutting cabling on the bike. Where did this guy want to go? Okay, well, that's it. Cager out. Just an addendum, I can't cancel the indicator even if I want to by accident, because when you indicate, if you press in like I'm doing now, it doesn't do a thing. Because the usual indicator, when you do that, it unlatches the micro switch behind, and so it returns to the center position. In this case, the way to recancel it is that you indicate, and then to cancel you indicate again in the same direction, and it cancels. So even if you by accident cancel it, you're not actually cancelling it, it's turning itself off by itself. That came out wrong.